He painted the most famous portrait in the world. He designed flying machines 400 years before the airplane. He dissected human bodies to map the heart, studied the flight of birds, the flow of water, and the growth of plants, filling thousands of pages with ideas centuries ahead of his time. He was a painter, an inventor, an engineer, an anatomist, and a scientist, all in one restless mind. To many, he is the single greatest genius who ever lived, the very definition of the Renaissance. Yet he left much of his work unfinished and most of his discoveries hidden in private notebooks. His name was Leonardo da Vinci. This is the story of a mind that seemed to grasp the whole of creation.
Leonardo was born in 1452 in the small Italian town of Vinci near Florence. He was the illegitimate son of a respected notary and a peasant woman, and because of his birth, he was barred from the universities and traditional professions open to legitimate sons. It was, strangely, a kind of freedom. Left to wander the Tuscan countryside, young Leonardo endlessly observed the natural world, filling his days sketching animals, plants, and the flow of streams, teaching himself by looking closely at everything around him. This intense curiosity, this hunger to understand how things worked, would never leave him. The boy from Vinci was already becoming the greatest observer the world had ever known.
As a teenager, Leonardo was sent to Florence, one of the great centers of the Renaissance, and apprenticed to a master artist named Verrocchio. In that busy workshop, he learned to paint, sculpt, and work with metal and machines. His talent was astonishing. According to a famous story, Leonardo painted an angel in one of his master's works so beautifully that Verrocchio, humbled, vowed never to paint again. But Leonardo was never satisfied with art alone. Even as a young painter, his mind raced far beyond the canvas, into engineering, mechanics, and the secrets of nature. He was becoming something the world had rarely seen, an artist and a scientist fused into one. Soon, he would set out to capture the entire world in his notebooks.
Throughout his life, Leonardo carried notebooks everywhere, filling thousands of pages with sketches, ideas, and questions about everything under the sun. He wrote in a strange mirror writing, from right to left, that can only be read easily in a mirror. In these pages, he drew the human body, machines, birds in flight, and swirling water. He created the Vitruvian Man, the iconic drawing of a figure inscribed in a circle and a square. His notebooks reveal a mind endlessly curious about how the world worked. He did not separate art from science, seeing them as two paths to the same truth. In those private pages, Leonardo was quietly recording discoveries the world would not catch up to for centuries.
Leonardo's imagination soared far beyond his age. In his notebooks, he designed machines that would not be built for hundreds of years. He drew flying machines with beating wings, an early parachute, and a helicopter-like screw meant to lift into the air. He sketched armored fighting vehicles, like an early tank, and powerful war engines for the rulers who employed him. He designed bridges, cranes, and devices to move water. Many of these machines could never have worked with the technology of his time, and most were never built at all. But they reveal a mind reaching desperately into the future. Leonardo was trying to solve problems that the rest of the world would not even begin to imagine for centuries to come.
For many years, Leonardo worked in the city of Milan, serving its powerful duke as an artist and engineer. There, he created one of the most famous paintings in history, The Last Supper. Painted on the wall of a monastery dining hall, it captured the dramatic moment when Jesus tells his disciples that one of them will betray him.
Leonardo filled it with astonishing emotion and movement, unlike anything painted before. But instead of using proven techniques, he tried a new method that would not last. Almost from the start, the great masterpiece began to fade and flake away. It was a pattern that would haunt his career, works of pure genius, undermined by his restless urge to try something new.
Leonardo's most famous work is a small portrait of a woman with a faint, mysterious smile, the Mona Lisa. Using a subtle technique of soft, smoky shading he perfected, he gave her a lifelike presence and an expression that seems to shift as you look at it. Is she smiling or not? For 500 years, that question has captivated the world. Leonardo was so attached to the painting that he never delivered it, carrying it with him for years and refining it again and again. Today, it hangs behind glass in Paris, gazed upon by millions, the most famous and most valuable painting on earth. In that quiet, knowing smile lies the mystery of Leonardo himself, forever just beyond our full understanding.
Leonardo's curiosity drove him deep into the study of the human body. In an age when it was rare and often forbidden, he dissected dozens of corpses to understand how we are built. He filled page after page with breathtaking anatomical drawings, mapping the muscles, the bones, the organs, and the vessels with a precision that would not be matched for generations. He studied how the heart pumped blood, how muscles moved the limbs, and even how a child grows in the womb. His anatomical work was so far ahead of its time that had it been published, it might have transformed medicine. But like so much of his genius, it stayed locked away in his private notebooks, unseen by the world for centuries.
For all his genius, Leonardo left behind a startling number of unfinished works. His mind leapt so quickly from one idea to the next that he often abandoned projects before completing them. He would begin a painting, then be pulled away by a new problem in engineering, anatomy, or mathematics. In his entire life, he completed only a small handful of paintings. Patrons grew frustrated, waiting for works that never came. But his so-called failures came from a mind simply too vast and too curious to be contained by any single task. He was not lazy, but overflowing, forever chasing the next mystery. Leonardo's unfinished works are, in a way, the perfect symbol of a genius reaching for more than one lifetime could ever hold.
In his final years, Leonardo was invited to France by the young king Francis I, who admired him deeply and gave him a comfortable home and the title of first painter and engineer to the king. There, honored and cherished, the old genius spent his last days surrounded by his beloved notebooks. Leonardo died in 1519 at the age of 67. Legend says he passed away in the arms of the king himself. His thousands of pages of ideas were scattered among his heirs, and many were lost or hidden for centuries. Only slowly did the world come to grasp the full scale of his genius. Today, Leonardo da Vinci stands as the supreme symbol of human curiosity, a mind that tried to understand everything.
Leonardo da Vinci, the painter, inventor, and scientist whose curiosity reached across the centuries, and who tried to understand it all.